Hi, we are going to learn some important aspects of English grammar because if we are totally ignorant of English grammar, we'll certainly face big troubles when we try to speak or write in English. More than that, our performance in the aptitude tests will be extremely pathetic. Being test takers, it is our necessity to gain knowledge in English grammar. Subject verb agreement is one of the most important aspects of English grammar. There are about a dozen rules that you should learn to master the area of subject verb agreement. We shall learn each of them during this discussion. Let us start with the basics. What is a subject? A subject indicates the doer of an action in a sentence. A sentence tells something about the subject. It can be the action of the subject or the condition of the subject. A subject can either be a noun or a pronoun. Noun is a name of a person, place, or thing. Pronoun is a word that substitutes a noun in order to avoid the repetition of using the noun again and again. Some of the common pronouns are he, she, they, you, I, we, it, etc. A subject can be found in two numbers, singular and plural. Singular indicates one and plural indicates more than one. Likewise, there are three persons. First person, which are I and we, second person is you, and third persons are he, she, they, and it. A verb is an action word. It tells us what a subject does. The verb must agree with its subject in number and person. The common rule is that if the subject is singular, the verb has to be singular. And if the subject is plural, the verb has to be plural. It is quite interesting to note that we add s to a subject to make it plural. On the contrary, we add s to a verb to make it singular. That is why we say girl sings and girls sing. But there are exceptions. A plural verb is always to be used in the case where you is the subject, even if it refers to one person. So it is not you is, but you are. Not you has, but you have. In the case of I, the rules are pretty flexible. Even though I is singular by nature, in some occasions it takes plural verb. In I am a student, am is a singular verb, but in sentences like I do not know or I have a car, plural verbs like do and have are used respectively. So, don't be confused with these exceptions. We are dealing in English language, and the element of exception is its uniqueness. But when we learn the important rules governing subjects and verbs in a sentence, our confusion will wither away. Do remember that the most common and most glaring grammatical errors come with regard to matching subject and verb in a sentence. Now let us see what happens when two subjects are joined by and. Look at the first sentence. Here are two subjects. Ram, Rahim are connected with and. If two subjects, even if they are singular, the verb used has to be plural because the two singular subjects make a plural subject. So the plural verb are is used here. This is a general rule. But of course, there are some exceptions. See the second sentence. Here, the two subjects, best friend and classmate, indicate the same person. Therefore, it is considered as singular. That is why singular verb is used in that sentence. When two subjects, connected by and, are preceded by each or every, singular verb is used. So we can see a singular verb brings used in the third sentence. The fourth sentence starts with many a. The word many is plural, but when it is followed by a, it is considered as singular. Hence, a sentence having many a takes a singular verb, like is, was, or has. That is why has is used in the given example. In the fifth and the last sentence, there are two subjects, bread and butter. Yes, they are two different things. But in this sentence, when they are joined by and, they indicate one thing. Here, bread and butter stand for food. When two nouns express one thing or one idea, they should be considered as singular. So we use a singular verb with them. That is why in the given example, instead of where, was is used. So when we see two subjects connected with and in a sentence, we must study the relationship of these words. We should ask a question: are they standing separately or are they related to give a singleness? In the first case, a plural verb, and in the second case, a singular verb must be used. If two or more subjects are joined by connections like as well as, together with, or along with, the verb is determined by the number of the first subject. In other words, the verb will connect with the first subject only. The first subject is rex. It is singular. So singular verb is used. In the second and third sentences, connectors together with and along with are used respectively. If we closely examine these sentences, we can feel that the stress or importance is given to the first subject, that is, rex. That is, the sentence emphasizes more on Rex's action, that is, playing, rather than his brother's action. So the use of a singular verb is logical here. In these two types of sentences, the second subject is ignored. We must also note that if the first subject is plural, the verb will be plural. If we change the subjects in the given example, we will have to say like this: his brothers as well as Rex are playing. His brothers together with Rex are playing. His brothers along with Rex are playing. So the bottom line is, when two subjects are joined with these connectors in a sentence, the verb must relate only with the first subject. Three conjunctions or connectors are given here: either or, neither nor, and not only but also. When we want to express about two persons, things, or ideas, we use these connectors. Well, if two or more subjects are connected using one of these connectors in a sentence, the verb in that sentence will be determined by the number of the subject immediately before the verb. In other words, the verb connects with the subject immediately before it. In the first three examples, we can see two subjects in each sentence, and the subjects nearer to the verbs are plural. So plural verbs are used. Hence, windows were, friends know, and brothers are. These same sentences can be changed by placing the singular subjects before the verbs as given in sentences. Then the sentences will be like this: either the windows or the door was left open. Neither his friends nor he knows about this problem. Not only his brothers, but also Rex is swimming in the pool. See the change. The doe was, he knows, and Rex is. So here, the bottom line is that when subjects are joined with these connectors in a sentence, the verb must agree with the subject nearer to the verb. A noun that stands for a collection of persons or things considered as one complete whole is called a collective noun. Examples are army, flock, crowd, class, etc. Collective nouns usually take singular verb. In the example given in the slide, bouquet is a collective noun and hence a singular verb, costs is used. Now let us look into the unity, disunity effect on certain collective nouns. When we talk about groups, a team, a class, etc., we normally treat them as singular. But there are certain cases where we use a plural verb in the case of a group. It would be good to look at finger fist analogy in these cases. Fingers form a fist. If all the 5 fingers are held together, they make a fist. Then it needs to be treated as singular. But if we open the fist, all the 5 fingers point in different directions and then they should be treated as plural. Even though fingers are there in a fist, we won't see fingers separately. Fist shows a singularity. But when we open the fist, the fingers are visible and they show their separateness. So they express a plurality. Look at the examples given in the slide. The jury has elected its president. Here the act of election was unanimous. Even though jury consists of many judges, they acted in the same way. There was no difference of opinion among them. The sentence expresses a feeling of oneness. So a singular verb has is used here. But in the second sentence, the jury had difference of opinion. Each one acted differently. There was no unanimity in their action. When we read this sentence, we can see many judges disputing over something. The sentence clearly expresses a plurality. That is why a plural verb where is used in this sentence. So when we handle these types of collective nouns, check whether they express unity or disunity to decide the number of the verb. Now about the exceptions. Certain collective nouns, though singular in form, are always used in plural sense and take a plural verb. Let us look at some examples. When we say people, we mean a lot of individuals. So there is logic in using a plural verb. And when we say crowd, we mean a lot of people. Yet it is considered as singular because there is a singularity or unanimity in the behavior or action of a crowd. So we say people behave, but crowd behaves. This is the same case with the word police. The police are, but policeman is. See, English is a language of exceptions. So beware of it. All mathematical expressions have singular result. You may disagree. Let us see the example. 4 and 4 are 2 subjects joined by and. So they should be plural. But this is a mathematical expression that ultimately has a single result. We will therefore use a singular verb, makes here. In this case, the end result determines the number of the verb than the number of the subjects. As you know, pronouns are words that indicate particular persons or things. Pronouns stand in place of nouns to avoid the repetition of nouns. Indefinite pronouns are pronouns that do not refer to specific persons or numbers. When we use the pronoun he, we specify a particular person, whereas when we say everyone, which is an indefinite pronoun, we do not specify any particular person. Some of the indefinite pronouns are given in the slide. They are anybody, everybody, nobody, somebody, anything, everything, nothing, something, anyone, everyone, no one, someone, some, all, most, any. The indefinite pronouns given in the first section are always singular and require a singular verb. Look at the examples given in the slide. We can see only singular verbs like is, has, and knows in these sentences because the subjects are indefinite pronouns like something, everyone, and nobody, respectively. Now look at the second category of indefinite pronouns: some, all, most, and any. They behave strangely, as can be seen from the examples. Here, the indefinite pronoun some takes plural verb are in the first sentence and singular verb is in the second sentence. Why? Is it confusing? Not at all. The word some can relate either with a number or with a quantity. If some relates with a number, then we use a plural verb, and when it relates with quantity, we use a singular verb. See, number always indicates a plurality, while quantity shows singularity. In the first example, some girls are going for the picnic. The subject is girls, which is countable and indicates number. So plural verb are is used. In the second example, some sugar is required to make the tea tasty. The subject is sugar, which is uncountable and shows quantity. Therefore, singular verb is used. The same rule is applicable in the case of indefinite pronoun all. Generally, all takes the plural verb as in, all the students have passed the exam. However, all is rarely used along with singular verb when all refers to a quantity as in, all the sugar is required. This is the same case with most and any. In short, indefinite pronouns all, any, most, and some may take singular or plural verbs depending on the meaning and context. These are some of the special cases. In the given sentences, we may feel that the verbs are used wrongly. In all these sentences, singular verb is used. But the subjects, minutes, rupees, and meters in these sentences look plural. But we must understand that nouns expressing periods of time, amount of money, or quantities are considered as a single unit. So singular verbs must be used in these cases. In the first example, the word minutes is plural, but we really mean a period of 60 minutes. That period has a singularity. Therefore, singular verb is used. Like that, in the second example, although we are using a plural word rupees, we are referring to the amount of 100 rupees. The word amount is singular and therefore a singular verb is used. In the third example, quantity of cloth is mentioned. As quantity is always considered as singular, about which we have studied earlier, a singular verb is used in that sentence. Look at these expressions: a lot of, most of, plenty of, and some of. These expressions take a plural verb if the reference is to number or countable things. But if the reference is to amount or quantity, or non-countable things or a collective noun, a singular verb is used. In the first sentence, a lot of refers to the people. The word people is countable. So the plural verb prefer is used. In the second sentence, a lot of refers to work. We cannot count work. Here, a lot of work means quantity of work. So it is singular in nature and therefore singular verb remains is used. In most of the houses, most of stands for the number. So plural verb are is used. But in most of the time, most of indicates quantity of time. Hence singular verb was is used. The same rule decides the number of the verb in the other examples as well. Let us look at one more rule before we conclude. A verb is an action word, so it does not connect with non-action. If somebody does not act, the verb will not connect with that subject. Look at the examples given in the slide. In the first one, Rex is playing. It is not his brothers who are playing. That is, the action is done by Rex. The verb should connect with the subject that is acting. Hence, a singular verb is used in that sentence. In the second example, the action, that is playing, is done by the brothers, not Rex. Therefore, plural verb are is used in that sentence. In order to get the subject-verb agreement correct in the sentences that you write, be thorough on the rules which we discussed now. These rules will also help you to spot the subject-verb agreement errors while attempting error correction questions in aptitude tests. Thank you.